I call to order the regular City Council meeting November 4th, 2014. Let the record show that all members, with the exception of Councilman Voits, are present. Tonight, we didn't have closed session, so this time we'll begin the public session with invocation led by Father Thomas Navel from Santiago de Compostela Catholic Church. Okay. All right. Well, if he shows up a little bit later, then maybe we can bring that in. But I'm slated here to lead the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. So on Election Day, it's my pleasure to do this, and it's a great day for America. So why don't you join me in pledging allegiance to the flag of our country? Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we don't have any presentations tonight, but we do have a report from our student liaison. So I see him in the audience, so if you'd join us up at the mic here. What exciting stuff's going on at El Toro High School?
Oh, man. Can only fit in 2 pages, so. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. This is Joseph Hanna, your student liaison, reporting on Tuesday, November 4th, 2014. To begin with, homecoming was a huge success. With no incidents, the dance flowed very smoothly, leading to the coronation of our king. Big congratulations to El Toro's newest royalty, Jillian Feist as our queen, and Matt Heffel as our king. Our Charger athletics have been absolutely destroying our competition. Our Chargers girls golf team are the undefeated Seaview League champions with a perfect league record of 8-0, with team captain Sharon O finishing second in CIF. Just yesterday, our girls volleyball team celebrated senior night with a win over our crosstown rivals Tribuca Hills with a score of 5-1. Our Charger football team hosts Dana Hills in the final game of the regular season, and we hope to extend our season by making it into the playoffs to bring back a CIF championship. The biggest buzz, however, around campus is about a number: 80,000. 80,000 is the number of cans we want to donate this year. Last year, we donated 78,000 cans to South County Outreach, smashing our record from years past. However, we couldn't have done this without the whole support of the whole community. To get to the 80,000, we need everyone. So I'd like to draw your attention to the entrance, where I've left a box with El Toro canned food drive written on it, with 80,000. Obviously, you can't put 80,000 in the box, but we'll be sure to get there. El Toro has been known for our legendary canned food drive. This is something we as Chargers and members of Lake Forest pride ourselves on. In fact, we have challenged every single local school to participate, who wants to participate, and we've crushed them ever since. We need everyone to push and donate as much as you can. No pun intended. So I'll be back next week. I'll be next time to bring back the cans, and I'll be sure to place them in a special pile. If anyone has any questions regarding the canned food drive, please, please, please don't hesitate in contacting me. I'd like to thank everyone in advance for their help and contribution. It will change so many lives in the community. That's all for tonight, and until next time, this is Joseph Hanna signing off, and as always, go Chargers! Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. And at this time, we're going to have our invocation, which will be led by Father Thomas Navel from Santiago de Compostela Catholic Church. So if you'd join us at the mic and lead us in the invocation, we'd appreciate that. Thank you for being here tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. Let us pause for a few moments of silence to acknowledge our loving God, the Supreme Being, someone whom we know has power to help us and assist us in all our desires, to be able to make this, our beloved city, something where people can live, survive, and be the best of who they can be. In the name of the Father, and Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. A prayer to accept change. Just when I thought I had it all figured out, Lord, things change again. When will I be able to rest in the comfort of knowing what comes next? You who transcend all time, who created the stars and set them in place, you who are ageless, yet known in every age, grant me to accept the changes that are happening. Empty my heart of anxiety and fill it instead with wonder and awe. Release me from from the chains of complacency and bind me to your ever-moving spirit. When the things I believe to be permanent and stable are left by the wayside, enfold me in your undying love, that I may remember in whom all things are bound. When fear of something new paralyzes me, and grief cripples me with anger over the loss of what had been, send your angels to give me a gentle push over that frightening edge into the unknown, so that I may learn to trust in you. For you alone are eternal, you alone are enduring, you alone are the everlasting Lord, and in you alone will this restless soul find peace, justice, comfort, and joy. Amen. In the name of the Father, and Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. God bless you in your work.
Thank you very much. All right, this time that brings us to the public comments portion of the meeting. Members of the public may address the City Council regarding any item within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. No action may be taken on items not listed on the agenda unless authorized by law. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person and an overall time limit of 30 minutes for the public comments portion of the agenda. Any person wishing to address the City Council on any matter, whether or not it appears on this agenda, is requested to complete a request to speak form available under the exit sign over there. The completed form is to be submitted to the City Clerk prior to an individual being heard by the City Council. Whenever possible, lengthy testimony should be presented to the City Council in writing with 8 copies and only pertinent points presented orally. Additionally, a request to register written comments form is available at the agenda public review counter. Before we get started, we do have an election that's still going on the other side of the wall here. We have some people that are voting, so in the interest of that, any comments that are made about the election or campaigning or anything like that could potentially be in violation of the law. So if you just have vague comments, general comments, that's okay. Anything specific, I would encourage you not to go that direction so that you don't fall out of compliance there. And with that, do we have any public comments on non-agenda items?
Yes, Andrea Alexander, followed by Gregory Sprague.
If you just state your name and the city you live in when you come to the mic here.
My name and what?
The city you live in, sorry.
Okay. Well, Lake Forest, obviously. My name is Andrea Alexander. I live in the city of Lake Forest. And thank you for letting me speak this evening. I'm here tonight on behalf of myself and my neighbors. I would like to address the noise levels, and when I say noise levels tonight, I'm also referring to the fuel byproduct particulate levels on Bake Parkway, specifically between Trabuco Road and Toledo Way. The noise pollution has become such that I and my neighbors are no longer able to enjoy our own backyards. We have lovely, well-appointed yards and would love to spend more time in them and use them to entertain our guests, but the level of noise on Bake Parkway prohibits us from doing so. And now there are potentially 50 more homes to be constructed in the area, which will only increase the already offensive clamor. I recently attended one of the traffic studies that our city was conducting on behalf of residents to get information on what concerned them most and what solutions could be provided or considered. Upon registering my concern about the noise levels on Bake, I was told that housing provided less noise pollution than light industry. Well, I would respectfully dispute that notion because light industry workers travel to and from work mostly on weekdays and at certain times of the day, usually 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Residents travel at all hours on every day of the week, not only to and from work, but carting children to school and other events and commitments. And don't forget Saturday date night. You all have those, right? And there is rarely a time when that street is quiet. Before I came here tonight, one of my neighbors asked me to tell you what it is like when you are sitting in your living room and suddenly your house shakes and rumbles because a large truck or a bevy of motorcycles has just driven on Bake Parkway behind your house. It is unnerving, especially since it is something that can and should be addressed. He actually did a visual on that, and he asked me to go, "Brrr," that's what it sounds like. So I am coming to you tonight with that specific concern, noise pollution created from traffic on Bake Parkway between Trabuco Road and Toledo Way. However, I also come to you with possible solutions. How rare. A complaint, but with solutions. The main solution is, of course, to build a retaining wall, one tall enough to remediate the noise levels and particulates. I am sure your next question is, how would we pay for this? That, of course, would be my next question. Well, I have given this considerable thought and done a bit of investigation, and I have 2, maybe 3, possible answers to that question. Number 1, which is probably the easiest and perhaps most efficient way, would be to include the Bake Parkway retaining wall in your negotiation with Meritage Homes. It is Meritage, right? Is it Meritage Homes? The 50 homes? Okay. Since these 50 additional homes will undoubtedly increase the noise level on Bake Parkway. The second option is to obtain the EIR report from the County of Orange to see what the predicted noise levels were. Once the report is reviewed for predicted levels, then do current noise level studies to see if there are any significant differences. If the noise levels now are significantly higher than what was predicted, then perhaps the County of Orange will remedy this by building the wall. Oh, I also have contacted Peter Chow at the County of Orange Planning Department, who found the 1987 EIR report for Environmental Management Agency buried in the archives. I think it's not even digitized. It's a hard copy.
I think the 3 minutes is up.
Oh, I'm almost done.
Okay, no problem.
I have Peter's phone number and email if anyone would be interested in contacting him. The third option is that the City of Lake Forest has already provided a wall on El Toro Road to remediate noise and protect residential properties, so this is obviously not an uncommon practice. Thus, the City of Lake Forest could provide the wall. So that's the third option. One more thing. Now let's talk about the wall itself. I only have about a paragraph and a half. I am thinking that it would have to be tall enough to eliminate as much noise as possible. I am seeing that the most common wall is made of brick. However, a solid brick wall can be rather unattractive and provide very little light into the backyards. While doing research on this, I noticed an area in Anaheim that had a very tall wall with glass brick along the upper edge in a linear pattern that provided light into the yards of the residences it protected and was quite attractive on both sides. So when designing the wall, please keep that in mind. So that, in a nutshell, is my concern. Noise and particulate levels on Bake, my solution, the wall, my funding source, Meritage County, City of Lake Forest, and finally, my preferred wall design, brick with glass brick insert. Okay, do you have any questions?
No, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time. I hope that some action is taken in this regard sooner rather than later, and I would be happy to assist in the R&D process necessary to make this happen.
Great. Thank you for your comments.
Gregory Sprague, followed by Jim Gardner.
Good evening. My name is Gregory Sprague. I am a 28-year resident. Approximately 2 weeks ago, the Verizon company was putting up a cell tower over Lake Forest 2 Association. They parked a truck and a trailer on the entrance by the tennis courts, taking that little entrance from 2.5 lanes to 1.5. As I was exiting the exit, a car pulled in that was westbound, and we couldn't get by. So we looked at each other, nothing to, get excited about. And the reason I didn't back up, because a Verizon employee came over to me, and Sergeant Keller knows I had the gas balloon in my eye because the retina is just sort of moved. I didn't want to back up because I can't see to my right really good. So the next thing I hear, a Verizon employee came over to me and said, "Back up." I says, "No, I can't see over there." So then I hear the horn from the other car, and I told him, "That's it. I turned my engine off. I said, I'm not moving. All of a sudden, I see the arms. He jumps out of the car, runs back to me, he doesn't give me the finger, he gives me the arm, whatever that is. Then, I don't know what happened. He opened my door, flung it open, reached in, grabbed me, but he couldn't get me out because I had my seatbelt on. By then, 2 Verizon employees come over and pulled him off of me. Now, I'm not stupid. I know what that is. You know what I did. So I have been after my friends over here, and I don't understand it. When I went to school, there was executive, judicial, legislative, and judicial. They're telling me, well, you can't sign a complaint because it has to be approved by the state's attorney. And I'm looking at him and telling him, I'm older than that. I'm older than all of you. And I know the law as well as that man. He may not think so, but I do. That is a crime, and I know what it's called. And what really rubbed me wrong yesterday, the investigator calls me up and he says, well, you know, I got to do a little more work. I said, well, what do you have to do? I have to talk to the witness. I said, what? Oh, I have 3 witnesses that pulled him off of me. And one guy gave me his name, and I ran and talked to Joanne Burroughs. I know who he is. He says, I said, well, who's the guy you haven't talked to? It's the offender. He says, I thought the police would have done that the first day, because when I got home, because I had his name, I looked him up on Google. He's on Google. It's not like it's a hard job to find a nobody, but he slithered away out of the association, and this department over here is like, I'm done.
Okay. Well,
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I'll try to get some more information there.
Jim Gardner, followed by Eric Garrettson.
Good evening. My name is Jim Gardner. I live in Lake Forest. I'd like to talk about the election, but nothing provocative. First of all, I'd like to compliment the city clerk and her department. This was a crazy election. You know, we had Measure X. We had 8 candidates. Never before had so many people run. Most of those candidates had never run before themselves, so they had lots of questions, made lots of errors. We had political action groups funneling money into the city, and they had to file stuff, and the city clerk and her staff got the stuff up on the website really fast. They answered everybody's questions. They did a terrific job. So bravo to you and your staff for doing a great job in what was probably the most convoluted and difficult election coming up. They always do a good job, but particularly with all this extra work. The other comment I want to make about is the police. In my memory, this has probably been the worst election we've had in the sense of stealing signs and illegally placed signs. I had a 10-foot by 10-foot banner, and in the midst of the night, people dressed in black snuck and took it off a garage. We had a series of Burma Shave ads. In broad daylight, people went and destroyed them. Seemed to be 24-hour-a-day vandals roaming the city up to mischief. That being considered, I think the police did a great job in controlling that. And in my case, I lost about a quarter of my signs, but I fully expected to lose a lot more than that. And other people I know, they lost signs, but considering the atmosphere and considering, you know, if you're going to steal 10-foot banners and you're going to break things in broad daylight, and that kind of mentality, I think the police did a good job. So bravo to the police and bravo to the city clerk for the job they did in the election. Thank you.
Eric Garrettson, followed by Margie Matzel.
Hello, my name is Eric Garrettson. I'm a 14-year Lake Forest resident, and I have before you a proposal for in my opinion, a very viable medical marijuana facility that we need One, I need it, and I'm tired of driving to Santa Ana to have to get it. Secondly, I need to go back to work, and by creating my own job, I can probably go back to work. But I don't know, have any of you had time to read my proposal yet? I'm just kind of asking a rough answer, because if you have, I think you'll agree that it's workable, and I'd like to schedule a date to bring people that are on my side, including my pain management doctors, and MS, people with MS, and others, to just express how important this is needed in this area. That's really all I have to say tonight, but I would like a hearing soon, please.
Okay. Thank you for your comments. Appreciate that.
Margie Matzel.
Mayor Robinson, Mayor Pro Tem Nick, Councilmember Bass, Councilmember Voights, Councilmember McCullough. Just real quick, first of all, I want to welcome Councilmember McCullough back, and my hat's off to you for, even though you've been ill, still putting the city first and still caring about your city. You're pretty amazing. And also want to thank Mayor Robinson for, it seems in the last year or so, we've forgotten the people that have come before, all the way back to the incorporation of the city of Lake Forest. I want to thank you for remembering those people at the opening ceremonies of the ribbon cutting. Former Mayor Mark Teddemer, and somebody very close to my heart, former and the late Councilmember Richard Dixon. Thank you for remembering them, because they seem to be forgotten when we're talking about the first 20 years really didn't count. So thank you for remembering that there were people. Thank you for the good job you're doing. Thank you to the people that came before that either are not with us anymore physically or are not on the council more. So thank you so much for remembering them. It was very touching. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we've had no further requests.
Okay. That brings us to the consent calendar, warrant register, item number 1. All matters listed under the warrant register are considered routine and will be enacted by one vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless members of the City Council, the public, or staff request specific items be removed from the warrant register for separate action. So if we had any requests from the public?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, council members, anything you'd like to pull from the warrant register? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Second. Motion and a second. Council members, cast your votes on item 1, the warrant register. Item passes unanimously. That brings us to the consent calendar, miscellaneous items, numbers 2 through 6. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered routine and will be enacted by one vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless members of the City Council, the public, or staff request specific items be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. Have we had any requests from the public?
We've had no requests.
Okay, items 2 through 6. Council members, anything you'd like to pull?
Item 3 for a quick correction.
Item 3 by Councilman Bass. Any others? Seeing none,
Move the remainder.
There's a motion on the remainder. I'll second it myself. So, seeing no further discussion, council members, cast your votes on items 2, 4, 5, and 6. Those items pass unanimously.
Agenda item 3, minutes of the regular meeting of the City Council held on October 7th, 2014, submitted by City Clerk and removed from the consent calendar by Councilmember Bass.
On the page that has the council member comments, the last comment says that, the last sentence says that I attended the ceremony where they ceremonially started to destroy the runway. I didn't actually attend. I reported on it occurring. It was occurring at the same time as the council meeting. And I apologize for not letting you know beforehand. I've just been kind of busy. But with that change, move approval of the minutes.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Seeing no further discussion, council members, cast your vote on item 3. Item passes 4-0 with an abstention by Councilwoman McCullough, as she wasn't here for that meeting. That will bring us to our one discussion action item tonight, which is item 7.
Agenda item 7, programs, activities, and events at the Lake Forest Sports Park and Recreation Center, submitted by Director of Community Services.
Mr. Members of the City Council, I'm going to turn this over to Gary McGill for a short presentation about the events and things that the staff has planned for our recreation and community, or the sports park. It is open for business. So, Mr. McGill, it's yours.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. We've had an exciting last couple of days with the preview night, which you can see in this first photo, which I got to tell you, all the really nice photos you see in here were taken by Nick Gates, our skate park supervisor. We had about 200 people attend the preview night, and then on Saturday, glorious day, beautiful weather, we had about 2,000 people show up for the grand opening. We saw a lot of people out there, and as a matter of fact, I just came from the sports park. Lots of people walking around, enjoying all the different things that are out there. Just walking around looking at the park, people playing soccer, people playing lacrosse. And tonight actually was our first open gym night. So with that, I can tell you about what things we have planned at the gymnasium. First off, we have our open basketball, like I say, tonight, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And until about the first of the year, there's no charge, so we've opened it up to the public free of charge on Tuesday and Thursday for basketball, Wednesdays and Friday for open volleyball. And then we've also begun using the gymnasium in November for National Junior Basketball. They'll be out there on Sundays and on Saturdays. So if you go on to the next slide, this is our meeting room, our main activity room. We have already a full complement of classes, contract instructors who are just very, very excited to move into the new facility. They teach preschool, arts and crafts, all different types of classes, and they are just looking forward to it. And one of the things we'll be able to offer over there that we can't offer now, there's a small kitchen there, so we'll have cooking classes. The other thing I see that we'll be using that, we're going having our upcoming business lunch in there. We'll also have coaches meetings. All the meetings that you saw that took place here, they'll all be moving over to the sports park. And then on Monday, this was actually our first day for our teen lounge. The teen lounge that used to meet back here now meets over at the sports park. And I will tell you, if you thought it was loud over here, you should have been over there today. They are just having a heck of a time. And I told them, I said, could you please take some pictures inside the center? Well, none of the kids wanted to stay inside. They all went outside, which is terrific. And one of the things they really seem to enjoy is this merry-go-round. I saw all different ages of people playing on that merry-go-round. If you go to the next slide, too, you can see all ages using the swings and all the other elements in the playground. And we're also finding that, like I say, outside a lot of the area is being used. So this is out on the patio outside of the teen center where they're playing ping pong. Then right next door is our computer lab. Just like we have a computer lab here, we have a computer lab over there. Although this one is a lot nicer. And it's set up for trainings. People can use it for trainings. The city can use it for trainings. Outside groups can use it for trainings. The teens will use it to play video games. Then also we will have classes. I think we're going to have, what's a video game design class, and a couple of other classes there. And with that, I'll let Vicki describe what will take place in the other rooms.
So hopefully on Saturday you are all able to go and look through the dance and exercise room. Holds dear and near to my heart. Grew up a dancer, grew up a fitness instructor. So when I saw this room, I said, sometime I'd have to come over here and utilize this and do some of my own dancing. But we're going to have Zumba, Mommy and Me Ballet, Yoga Buddha Ballet, Butterfly Ballerina, Swing Dance, which will be new for us. We haven't been able to offer that, and Ballroom Dance. We have had a lot of these classes here in the past, except for the Swing Dance and Ballroom Dance. You can't really do that stuff on a carpet. So now the fact that we have this new room, that Gary was saying, all the contract instructors are just itching to get in there, which is really good. And then on our next slide, we go out to the Commons, and a lot of the events we have at Pittsford Park, we will be moving over to the Commons, but we'll leave some at Pittsford Park as well. Some new ideas we have are we're going to do some big screen movies. So we have our Movies on Park program that does movies for kids during the summer. We were thinking of doing a classic movie feature at the Commons itself. Concerts in the park, a variety of special events. We finally have an area where we can do arts and cultural events. So we can use the stage area in the commons and also the grass, perfect for setting up booths for arts and crafts fairs. And then also an area for the Relay for Life, which is really nice. The one thing I have to say about on Saturday when I was there, which I really loved, so I'm watching everybody run around and play, and on the sides where the hill was coming down, all the kids were doing rolling down the hill. Somersaulting down the hill, rolling down the hill, and at the same time had all the other fun things going on.
Also, at this time, although the baseball fields are open, the synthetic fields are fully open. So we're seeing a lot of people out there using them. There's one of them that's lined for lacrosse and soccer. The other one is lined for soccer. I went by tonight. They were sharing the fields. Everybody was having a good time out there. We're looking forward to our spring allocation meeting, which is Thursday the 13th at 4:30, and we anticipate a huge crowd of people who are interested in using the facilities. In the past, we had it pretty well down who got to use the fields, but now we've doubled our capacity. So there's all kinds of groups that are approaching us pretty much every day. Somebody looking for a place to host an event. So if you go to the next slide, some of the things that we have scheduled already, we have the lacrosse is using the fields, AYSO is using the fields. We leave them open certain times for open play. And we have two premier soccer tournaments that are taking place in January on the synthetics, Elite Girls Soccer and Strikers Football Club. And these are both girls. Elite Girls Soccer, 12 to 17-year-olds, and the Strikers is for 8 to 18-year-old girls. And if you go on to the next slide, you can see the setup for lacrosse out there. They're already using that. And the next slide shows you the field setup for soccer. Okay, on to the next slide. It shows the baseball field lit up the other night. We anticipate opening the natural turf fields in February. And one of the things I think we all should be really proud of is this at the sports park. We have our first dedicated girls softball facility. And when we met with the president of the league, we said, no, this is just your field. He goes, I don't have to share this with anybody. We go, no, this is just for you. He couldn't believe it. They couldn't be more pleased. The other thing we'll be offering, which we haven't been able to offer in the past, is adult softball league. So we're looking forward to that. Then some of the special events, invite everybody out this Saturday to the Tour del Toro. They have bike rides. I hear the mayor's going to ride his bike. The 62-mile ride or the 25-mile ride? 25. They also have a 1K and a 5K run. They'll have a bike safety rodeo, so I want to make sure to invite everybody out. That'll be our inaugural event for the community. And we're finding that there's all kinds of things that community members would like to host at the park, company picnics, just everything you can imagine. And then on to the next slide, we're actually holding our Portola Park Community Workshop. So we have another park to design. And we're going to have that workshop over at the sports park. We'd like to invite everybody out. It's Wednesday, November 19th at 6:30. So you can see there's all different kinds of things and things we can't even imagine that people are coming forward to with us as to how to use that facility. So we like to say, we're open for fun. Come on out. So thank you.
Great. Do we have anyone from the public that wanted to speak on this item?
We've had no requests.
Okay. Council members, any questions or comments on the Councilman Bass?
Yeah, I think it's a great facility. Went up there this afternoon, and there were people using it. It was after school hours, so there was kids up there using it. Looking forward to using the gym myself, but just everyone I've talked to really likes the facility and can't believe how big it actually is. Thank you for all the work and not only getting it open, but with all the staff, but also starting to get the programming in place. Thank you.
Councilwoman McCullough.
First of all, I'd like to thank the citizens for the suggestions that they make to us, like our skate park, and like this every 2 years when we take the survey, because we do hear you, and you do have a say in how your monies are spent. And because this ranked a certain place on the agenda, it took us a little while, but we have produced, and that took the developers and everybody working together. But first of all, the ideas had to come from you, how you wanted your money spent. And I was able, I got okay from a doctor, quick little time, but I was able to go out to the park Saturday. Thank you, Vicki, for driving me around.
You're very welcome.
And as anybody that knew, I had to tear up because we've looked at it, we've seen the renderings of it and the pictures, and we talked about it. But to actually be there and see over these years for it to develop and be materialized, it was just very emotional for me. And the ones that were a part of that's no longer here on the council, I'm quite sure that any of them that get a chance to go out there, they're going to see the same thing. It's even more magnificent and more breathtaking than we ever imagined. And so for me, I'd like to say thank you to our citizens, our staff, and all the developers and everybody that donated where it didn't take city money to take and create this beautiful park. If you haven't been there, please go see the different amenities that this council and the previous councils has formed over what you suggested to us that you wanted and ranked, and we are doing it one by one. Another project's on the back burner too. So moving forward now. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the staff. Gary, you did a magnificent job in the workshops that you held. And, people, we don't have a Disneyland, but we do have a state-of-the-art, top-notch sports facility here in Lake Forest that will become a destination for youth and adult sport activities throughout Orange County and the state. We already have 2 statewide soccer tournaments that will be here that actually will bring in revenue to the city because of the people that are coming here shopping, dining, staying overnight because of the soccer tournament's a 2-3 day event. So what we have here is a destination, and it's really going to put Lake Forest on the map. And so I couldn't be more proud to be there at the ribbon cutting and seeing that the eyes of the people, the children, and seeing it actually being used for the first time in the VIP Thursday night where the lights actually went on for the first time was just almost like overwhelming to us as council members, because the fact is that I couldn't be more proud of our city, and I couldn't be more proud of our staff and the leadership and the vision that former councils had, and the perseverance that we and you, the people of Lake Forest, have had, given us the time to build this state-of-the-art, because this was done right. And so congratulations to all you, the citizens of Lake Forest, and congratulations, Lake Forest staff. Thank you.
All right. Any other comments? Okay, seeing none. It was fantastic. So, and we just have a receive and file on this. So, thank you very much for the presentation there. And that brings us to the city manager's report.
I have nothing further this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. So, council comments. Councilmember Bass.
Yeah. During the course of this election campaign, a lot has been said about the Sheriff's Department and those from the department serving the city of Lake Forest. In my opinion, both from personal observations and from what comments I received as I walked the city, and I did a ton of walking, is that the Sheriff's Department is doing a superb job in serving the residents and the businesses in Lake Forest. There were a few areas that I walked that would like some additional patrolling, and I'll give that to the city manager in the near future. The contract model that the city operates under allows the city to tap into the vast resources of the Sheriff's Department without the expense of having those services dedicated to the city. One of the concerns I have, and a few others have stated this to me also, is that when a member of the council states that a deputy's personal observation is not what we think it is, in effect it is challenging the deputy's truthfulness. I don't think that is correct. I think it's a slap in the face of the deputy in the Sheriff's Department. And the deputy is a trained observer and reports accurately what he or she sees. That's it for that item. Next is last meeting there was comments about a meeting back in 2013. Well, I read the minutes and listened to tape, and it was accurate what was reported. But there was something else on there that I noticed in relation to the Nick versus City of Lake Forest litigation. That's with respect to cost. And that then Council Member Adam Nick said that essentially that if he's proven not right, which is highly unlikely, that he would reimburse the city and it will not cost the city a dime. I've heard lots of numbers as to how much the cost is to date. I would just like a consensus to have on the next City Council agenda a written report. Doesn't need to be more than a page as to what the actual cost is to date. If I could get consensus on that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
We probably shouldn't talk about it since it's not
Right.
agendized, but if...
I just
you want-
wanted
yeah, sure.
to know what he meant by the actual cost. Was he including staff time?
I was just including the costs that we've paid for attorneys and that, what checks we've written, had to write. Wasn't including staff time.
Okay, so that's his comments. There's consensus on that particular part.
And then finally, it's this is tough, but it's something that I felt needed to be done. Just prior to the council meeting on March 18th, which was the meeting following the award of the contract to CR&R, Mayor Pro Tem Adam Nick called me and asked if I would support a motion to reconsider the award of the contract to CR&R. We talked about it briefly, and then Mayor Pro Tem Nick asked me to call Councilmember McCullough and see if she would also support that. I stated that that would be a violation of the Brown Act and wouldn't do that. He indicated that he would not tell anyone and would swear on his father's grave that he wouldn't tell anyone. I refused because I didn't want to break the law. However, I did report this request to the city attorney. No action was needed or taken because there was not an actual violation, but there was an attempt to cause that to happen. And I did not appreciate it, but based on what's been said recently, felt that it should be reported publicly. There's been other instances of somewhat similar nature that I don't want to go into, but it's just because of those, I do support Mayor Robinson's call to have Adam Nick resign from the City Council. Thank you.
Great. Councilwoman McCullough?
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you for all my colleagues that has filled in for me while I was out ill. For those that have kept me up in prayer, thank you very much. It's about as close as I've been to death in many, many years. I'm not totally out the woods, but I am recuperating, and I'm very glad to be able to be here tonight. I only have one comment. Something that hurts my heart is, for any of you that know me, you know I love my city. I truly, truly love my city. I loved it when it was the town of El Toro, and I loved it more as it has grown into the beautiful city it is. I was not able to campaign because I took ill and had to have a very serious and almost fatal major surgery. But the shenanigans that has went on this campaign has hurt my heart. I've always been very proud of my city because my city has always done right by its people. The people have always had a say. You may not always agree, but just stick around long enough, one of your ideas will come to the surface and you'll agree. The campaign signs that has been stolen, defaced, and everything. Fortunately, I'm so cheap that I just bought a whole big stack on my second campaign. I just pull out some and use each time. But that wasn't even able to get out like it should. The ugly things that has been said and the untruths, our city, even when we disagree, when it's over with, we all come together and make it happen, like our sports park, our skate park, revitalizing the El Toro Road. Out of all the things I thought about when I was laying in the hospital trying to fight for my life, I could not get away from hearing the uglies that was going on in my city. If there's anybody else in this city that loves it as much as I do, and if you're a praying person, would you please keep our city in prayer? Because there is no reason we, as citizens of the most beautiful city in the world, to me, should have this kind of contentious. And I hope that my citizens get involved and learn the candidates. Learn them before you vote for them, or you let money or posters or anything influence you. And when someone tells you something about someone, make sure you take and check it out for yourself completely. because this is the first time in my life, and I've been living in this city when it was El Toro. I've been in this valley since 1969, and I've never been ashamed of my city. This is the first time in my life it hurt me. And many times while I was trying to stay alive, I was in tears because it would drift to me what was going on. As we, the people of this city, let's never, never allow anyone to put us at odds to the point that we do such cruel and ugly things. I hope that the citizens rise up and say, not here in our city will this ever happen again. Thank you.
Councilman Boytz.
Many of you have read in the paper of the shenanigans going on in our city. All of you, as residents of the city of Lake Forest, have received ugly mail pieces accusing fellow council members of lying, cheating, and shenanigans. But the fact is that 2:30 in the morning, one of our council members, Mayor Pro Tem Adam Nick, was caught with somewhere between 10 and 20 of my signs in his car. I was hurt and saddened to see a fellow council member grabbing signs at that time in the morning without the permission of me, the owner of those signs. And it was a travesty to what has gone on since then, because up to date, I've lost well over 200 yard signs in the city of Lake Forest. We had put them out. Many of you have seen them on the corners one day and gone the next. It was only by the persistence and maybe foolhardily of me continuing to put them out with my wife and my daughter and my friends that I lost so many. But the fact is that I wasn't going to stop, because I have a can-do attitude, and so I figured that eventually they would give up taking my signs, but they did not. And so I continued to put them out, had to order more. I am saddened and hurt by the actions of someone that has been elected to have the trust of the people of Lake Forest. And I think that shows a disregard to what we as people of Lake Forest expect out of our elected officials. So I just want to say that I am extremely saddened. I'd like to say that our staff, you, the people of Lake Forest, have lots to be proud of. We are the gateway to South Orange County. We have a magnificent, magnificent, magnificent sports center here in Lake Forest. And I encourage any of you that have not been out there to come visit it, walk it. It is something, just go take a Saturday morning walk there, because it's something that's so magnificent. You know, the state-of-the-art fields actually have drainage to where many of us know that the pit, Heroes Park, where many of our children learned how to play soccer, is a flood control basin. And when it rained back in the day, when it used to rain, used to have 3-4 inches of water out there. We will never have this at the sports park. And so I just want to say congratulations to Lake Forest. We have lots to be proud of. We just need to get our elected officials in order. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Nick.
Well, I was going to wish you all a great evening, but I have to respond to a few things. First, I don't know where to begin. First, there's a difference between legal cost and attorney fees. What I said was that I was going to reimburse the city for legal costs if I lost my case against the city. Legal cost does not include attorney fees. Mr. Bass is not sophisticated enough to know that, obviously. The city attorney can elaborate on that, perhaps, if need be. But I said, and I will reimburse the city for legal cost should I lose my case. Number one. Number two, my case is merely a request through the judicial system for a decision made by the previous council to be examined. I am not asking for money. I am not seeking monetary damages. I'm not asking for money. You can check that again with the city attorney. I can answer Mr. Bass right now. The city has the total legal cost of attorney fees amounts to about $130,000 by city so far. Myself, I have spent about $300,000 because I'm fighting 3 parties. I'm fighting the city of Lake Forest, I'm fighting 7-Eleven Incorporated, called Southland Corp., and I'm fighting the state of California. So I have 3 cases pending, and I've spent over $300,000 of my own money. The city has spent about $130,000 so far. Again, I am not asking for money. I'm just asking for a decision to be examined. If it was lawful, so be it. If it wasn't, it would be reversed by the court. The alternative would have been for me to take a machine gun. I took the civil route. Number one. Number two, the rest you heard is just politics. I tried to introduce a series of reformist measures, and I was voted down 4-1 or 3-2. And this is my colleagues ganging up on me. In time, you'll be able to tell. The rest, in fact, the name came up, Meritage Incorporation or Meritage Real Estate. Meritage Real Estate has funneled money through a PAC, through a political action committee, endorsing Mr. Hamilton, Commissioner Hamilton, endorsing Mr. Bass, appointed Councilman Bass, and endorsing Mr. Voights, Councilman Voights. This is all the doing of Meritage Real Estate, who is trying to get a piece of land they own here in Lake Forest rezoned. I'm against it, but I'm the only one against it. It's an industrial zone. It needs to stay industrial zone. We're not going to do spot zoning. We are not LA. My colleagues don't agree with me, so they're ganging up on me. I hope you're smart enough to see that. And if you don't see that tonight, you will see it in time. Trust me. As far as the sign, I am disheartened. Mr. Voights knows what I know, and yet he comments. He knows I cannot comment. That's a pending matter. Those signs, I had saved them for him. He knows that. But this is just dirty politics. Yeah, laugh. Just laugh. You'll be embarrassed when the truth comes out. Thank you.
All right. With that, I have just 2 issues that I want to bring up. The first one is, and it was alluded to during public comment, but I have looked at and previously supported a discussion on medicinal marijuana dispensaries. I'm pulling my support, so now there isn't consensus. Mayor Pro Tem Nick did bring that up, and so he can choose to do that at a future meeting, but at this point doesn't have any support on a discussion of that topic, so it will die until he brings it back up and gets consensus again. The other issue that I would like to ask for consensus on is at our next meeting, consideration and potential action regarding council leadership. So have that agendized for the next meeting. So I'd like consensus from one of the...
Sure, I second that.
Okay, so there's consensus on that item. So, and with that, wish you all a good evening. Getting out of here before 8 o'clock, so hope you have a good evening, and I'll adjourn the meeting.